This is Susan Voorhees, and we're gonna talk about VHS tapes. Coming to you from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I believe I started collecting tapes a few years ago because I'm a vendor at the Calgary Horror Con, and I saw many people selling them there, and I just completely fell in love with the covers and movies, discovering movies I've never heard of. And so I began selling VHS tapes, and then once you start collecting, it just becomes like an addiction. It's a hard guess for me because this is only just part of my collection. I have VHS tapes all over my house, so I probably have to say at least 1,500. Oh, my most prized tapes. Got a stack back here. So one is definitely this movie, The Slayer. It's a very rare tape. It's an absolutely great movie. I just love the title. The cover is very ominous. I don't ever remember seeing this movie in video stores. So I came across that because of VHS collecting. Another favorite of mine is just this crazy, sleazy slasher pieces. This is the first time I watched this movie. It blew my mind how incredibly hilarious, inadvertently hilarious a horror movie could be. It's a classic. Also, this is one, it's kind of a controversial movie. I got it in a lot on eBay a few years ago. I paid a very good price for the lot. And this was in there. Never heard of it. Did some research about it, and apparently it's quite a hated movie. Apparently people say it's not a real horror movie. I watched it. It's quite strange, it's quite odd, it's quite different. It's actually one of my favorites in my collection. I absolutely love the cover, and it's quite a creepy movie. Another prized one, and this is also a rare tape, Campfire Tales, not the crappy 90s Campfire Tales. The one featuring Gunnar Hansen, who visits some children sitting around a campfire telling ghost stories. And then Gunnar Hansen just drops in as this creepy hitchhiker. It's a horror anthology. I'm a fan of the first skit in this movie. It's definitely by far the best. It's really creepy. It takes place on Halloween night. Has the Hook from Lover's Lane kind of story going on. Very good movie. And Gunnar Hansen's great in it. Another prized one. I absolutely love this movie. I love Driller Killer. Another movie that receives a lot of hate. I think it's an absolute masterpiece. I got really lucky tracking down this Magnum big box. Unfortunately, it's a little bit faded, but definitely Driller Killer, Abel Ferreira. Love this movie. Absolutely love this movie. And then last but not least for my most prized tapes. Only discovered this movie because of tape collecting. It's not an original release, but massacre release. Abomination has to be one of my favorite movies, hands down, ever made. I love shot on video. You have to just see it to believe it. Tons of great gore effects, amazing movie. Funny, great music, gotta love old school synth. Definitely hard to come by now. This is original Paramount Friday the 13th release. Was very lucky to buy this off of a collector who was selling his collection at a flea market. So it opens like this, Paramount gatefold. Of course, my favorite franchise is Friday the 13th, so having an original of Friday the 13th gatefold is just amazing. Definitely. Rare Halloween Night or Jack-o'-lantern. This is a very rare tape. It's a pretty good movie, couple good scenes, good one to own, essential for your collection. And one of the rare tapes, I had to buy this cut box unfortunately. I would love to get one that's not cut. Donna Michelle, Attack of the Killer Refrigerator. Only reason I came across this movie was back in the day for the video stores. A bunch of us rented this because it just looks so ridiculous. And it's up there with Abomination. It's the first movie that Attack of the Killer Refrigerator is only 15 minutes, but it's like the best 15 minutes to ever watch if you're shot a video film. And that's that for those ones. Grail tapes. Very hard to come by. I guess different people classify different tapes as grail tapes. Like Attack of the Killer Refrigerator I'd considered grail tape. This Astro release of Texas Chainsaw Massacre is definitely a grail tape. I got really lucky finding this one in the wild actually. Couldn't believe it. So very, very rare. Another grail one I consider grail tape is a super early media release of Tourist Trap. Very creepy, unnerving movie slasher involving mannequins that come to life. Early media release, so you have the orange, blue. They're hard to find any of these early media releases. And then Essential, definitely grail. I mean, just the cover alone is amazing. And it takes place in a video store. Like, this is, I think, every hipster's wet dream come true is this tape right here. And I'm not calling myself a hipster. I think I classify as too old for a hipster, but yeah, that's grails. And of course, what I really want is 555. I consider that a grail tape. A lot of people say it's not the best movie. I enjoyed it, and it's just in an obnoxious pink box. And it's like you know it as soon as you see it, and it's definitely essential. I want that. I'm always on the lookout for horror movies, rare horror movies. And really after the Gorgon release of Bay of Blood, got an amazing cover, great movie as well. Prism release of Torso. I know Anchor Bay re-released it, but I want the Prism one where the hacksaw's on the cover. It's just so cool. Original Magnum release of Nailgun Massacre. I have a reproduction, but I'd really love to get my hands on the original Magnum release of Nailgun Massacre. Definitely the people that I've met are just amazing. Like, you can talk about, oh hey, how about the ending of Sleepaway Camp? Most outrageous ending of all time, and they can get you and they can talk to you about it and tell you about movies you've never heard of. I can really connect with VHS collectors. They just understand where you can't have conversations like that with, quote unquote normal people. Talk about video stores. Like, poor VHS people are the kindest, most amazing, most creative people I've ever met. Out in the wild, I'm happy to find anything horror related. Hoard tapes, collect tapes, I sell them. I've found quite a few good tapes out in the wild, but these are just a couple of my favorites. Value Village find, Reform School Girls. I couldn't believe this was just sitting on the shelf. No other horror. Just this one was sitting there by itself, and I couldn't believe it. I've been after a copy of Reform School Girls for years. Another one, Value Village find. Never even heard of this movie, so like I said, that's why I love collecting VHS tapes. To come across movies you never heard of. There's no label on this tape, but it is the movie. It's just, the cover just blew my mind. Probably nobody bought it because it had no label. But for $2, it ended up being the right movie. And really cool movie. And then coming across stuff like this, I can't even remember, I think this was in the lot. Very obscure mid-80s cartoon. And they had, in Humanoids, they had a really cool toy line. And I had one of the toys when I was a kid and I didn't know what it was. So, this is the feature-length movie. There was like a pilot episode. And I'm so happy to find this. It's absolutely minty. I remember finding it in the wild. I don't even remember where I got it from. Pretty much the only tapes that I collect are horror, just because you find such rare movies that aren't released yet on Blu-ray. So just pretty much horror, or just crazy Christian stuff, Satan worshiping, but that's pretty much it. Just all about the horror. As a VHS collector in Canada, shipping's very expensive, so I believe I've only ever done one trade, and I think that I ended up paying for all the shipping involved. There's the tapes that I really wanted. That's one thing that Americans, I don't want to say they have it easy, but they have it easier than Canadians when it comes to VHS collecting, just because the shipping in Canada is ridiculous. Well, I recently went over to my buddy's house after this whole, I guess the pandemic still happening, but when we felt safe to meet, and I grabbed really amazing stack of tapes, Death Row Game Show, pin, EEC of Nightmare, which is Nightmare on a Damaged Brain, very rare tape, and Frenchman's Farm. And I'm very grateful to meet, other local collectors that are willing to sell really amazing tapes like that. I didn't own VHS tapes until recent years because I always rented tapes. Everything was rented. I think I rented Friday the 13th series so many times I probably could have bought it like 10 times over. But as a kid, I taped a lot of stuff off the TV. I believe I had a Michael Jackson tape. I love Michael Jackson. I'm a child of the 80s. And I had like hours and hours of interviews and performances. I don't believe I still have that tape, unfortunately. But yeah, video stores were the way to go for me, and I just rented and rented and rented. This is the creation of Iron Giant VHS tape. And this is the Violent Homicidal Serial Killer tape. And that's the 26-minute movie that I've made, and that you've been watching all this gruesome destruction. I'm so obsessed with VHS tapes, I wanted to make a little stop-motion character that's basically literally a killer VHS tape. And it's all filmed on my old school VHS camcorder. And yeah, that's about it. Be kind, rewind.